30 milligrams of codeine every 4 hours.
As audiences, we come to a film with a certain set of expectations.
You have to understand, most of these people are not ready to be unplugged. And many of them are so inert, so hopelessly dependent on the system that they will fight to protect it. Were you listening to me, Neo?
If there's a setup,
What are you trying to tell me? That I can dodge bullets?
we expect something is going to happen.
No, Neo. I'm trying to tell you that when you're ready, you won't have to.
A ticking clock has us anticipating an explosion. When a character poses a question,
Oh, what's in the box?
we demand the answer. If a character is killed,
At 2 o'clock, the murder was afoot.
the murderer must be uncovered. It's cause and effect. It's the contract filmmakers enter into when presenting us with their movie. So when we see a car go over the edge of a cliff, we're expecting to see an explosion. And when we don't get that, we're surprised. Okay, and maybe a little confused, because the filmmaker has just broken the contract. Bad film, deal's over, turn it off immediately.
What is this? Are you trying to trick me?
Wait, just wait.
Okay, no, we definitely want to know what's going to happen. This is suspense. It's delaying our expectations, leaving a question unanswered, forcing us to lean in anticipation of where the story is going.
So what happened next?
So how do filmmakers create suspense?
Sometimes they look for a bullet wound after you hit that ground.
How can they cleverly deceive their audience in ways that are surprising, in ways that make us curious instead of confused? What happens when they choose to keep a secret from us? Maybe tell a lie?
Who's Kaiser Sose?
And how do they do all this without betraying the valuable audience-storyteller relationship? To understand how filmmakers can build suspense and create mystery, it is important to first look at how they choose to reveal story information. Consider the opening of a film. We're introduced to our protagonist as we enter into the narrative. Only wait a second, this is not our protagonist. Filmmakers play with point of view all the time.
Hello?
The shifting of perspectives creates interesting opportunities to generate suspense, whether we're starting a film through someone else's eyes,
Clever girl.
Men always use that, don't they?
or completely shifting the narrative's POV mid-film.
Cool girl never gets angry at her man. She only smiles.
Perspective can be used to expand our knowledge beyond that of any one character's point of view, generating suspense from what we do know,
God's sake, Chris. The whole world is watching. We can't let him die in front of a live audience.
He was born in front of a live audience.
or restrict the information we receive to the subjectivity of a single person,
So where are you? You're in some motel room?
generating suspense from what we and the characters don't know.
Man, what is going on? Maybe you should have left town a little bit earlier, right?
Horror and thrillers in particular benefit from this restricted POV style of storytelling.
Move, children! Vámonos!
It's no wonder filmmakers love keeping their terrifying creatures and sinister movie monsters absent from a film's trailer and promotional material. Limiting our access to narrative information allows us to experience these jump scares and horrifying reveals with the characters. It's the fear of the unknown, but that doesn't mean unrestricted narration can't create just as much suspense.
Well, if you want anything, just tap on the wall. I'll be in the office.
Thank you, Mr. Bates.
Norman Bates.
Hitchcock was the master of this type of suspense, or what he likened to a bomb under the table, whereby a boring conversation about baseball could become a whole lot more interesting if the audience learned there was a bomb under the table.
And tell the audience there is a bomb under that table. And will go off in 5 minutes. Now the conversation about baseball becomes very vital.
Just consider 1948's Rope. But instead of being in on Brandon Shaw and Philip Morgan's nefarious murder plot, imagine watching it from the perspective of the unsuspecting dinner patrons.
I thought I heard David on the phone to Philip yesterday morning.
Yes, you did. I'd forgotten.
Oh, what were you talking to him about? Did he call about the party?
Yes, he wanted to make sure about the time, that was all.
Well, now it's just a boring dinner party. No dead body, no threat of being found out, no suspense.
That's all right, Mrs. Wilson.
That's not very interesting, is it? You see, sometimes we need to know more than the characters.
But driving with you and Philip now might have an additional element of suspense.
Sometimes suspense of the known can be just as thrilling as suspense of the unknown.
He's got it. He knows. He knows. All right, he knows.
But perspective is not the only device for generating suspense and mystery. If starting from a minor character's POV before revealing your protagonist can be surprising, imagine throwing us straight into a critical point in the narrative.
I think we should stop seeing each other.
Starting a romantic comedy from the breakup, a drama from the climax, a surrealist love story from its conclusion. Time actually creates very interesting opportunities for generating suspense. Sure, you have your race against the clock.
Houston, we have a problem.
The threat of a looming deadline.
What would you do if you knew you had less than a minute to live?
I'd make those seconds count.
But time also presents the possibility of playing with linearity.
Every thought you have creates its own reality. You know, it's like every choice or decision you make, the thing you choose not to do fractions off, becomes its own reality, you know, and just goes on from there forever.
The 90s and early 2000s saw a slew of filmmakers experimenting with narrative restructuring in ways that felt surprising, in ways that created suspense that wouldn't have been there had these stories been told chronologically.
How do you know so much about Punxsutawney?
I've spent a lot of time.
But while certainly innovative, these devices were far from new. Films have been playing with nonlinearity as a way of building mystery and suspense since the early 1900s. Oftentimes, these devices that feel edgy and fresh
You've been a long way away. Thank you for coming back to me.
can actually be traced back to a long lineage of masterful storytellers.
What else are you? What are you? You a hypnotist?
No, of course not.
Well, then why am I seeing all these strange things here?
Don't you understand, George? It's because you were not born.
Well, if I wasn't born, who am I?
You're nobody.
It's why such nonlinearity is seen as normal in films today.
Let's go back about 6 months and find the day when it all started.
It's why these devices, often expected in a mystery or thriller,
I think we better start over, don't you?
What?
have become commonplace across all genres.
It's one of those infinite time loop situations you might have heard about.
Just think of how many films cross-cut between different time periods. How many start in media res?
We lost Doug.
How many employ flashbacks?
Run, Forrest, run!
But I could run like the wind blows.
Or even flash forwards.
I forgot how good it felt to be held by you.
These shifting timelines can be used to complicate the narrative. These flashbacks to mislead us.
But I'm sure Keaton is dead.
I can't feel my legs. Kaiser.
Such devices can conceal important information.
The greatest trick the devil ever pulled was convincing the world he didn't exist.
Ultimately making for some pretty surprising reveals.
And like that, he's gone.
But when tricking your audience in this way, there are more tools than just time that a filmmaker can use.
Don't tell him what you want. He's a liar. Let the kid talk. You sit on a throne of lies.
Sure, characters lie to each other. It happens all the time.
Could you make me a woman?
And it's incredibly fun for us to watch these small deceptions and betrayals play out on screen.
Liar! Liar!
Get back, witch!
You've got your spy thrillers, your blackmail, infidelity, you know the drill. A character keeps a secret or tells a little white lie, and our suspense comes from waiting for them to be found out. But what happens when we're the ones being betrayed? It's all fun and games when we're in on the secret.
What's our next move?
But what happens when we're not?
You tell me.
Whether through concealing, distracting, or carefully leaving out important narrative information, these tactics have us expecting one outcome, but feeling completely surprised when we get another.
There's no one here, Jack. Clarice.
The entire murder mystery genre relies on this withholding of information.
Kind of a crazy story with a crazy twist to it.
A perfect modern example being Rian Johnson's 2019 whodunit, Knives Out.
Everyone can lie. Well, almost everyone.
In these types of films, there's a rule that you never want the audience to be ahead of the protagonist, often an eagle-eyed detective.
Yeah, I'm a private dick on a case.
Because then, well, that's just boring. But rules are made to be broken. So in Knives Out, we do know more than Detective Benoit Blanc. As a matter of fact, right in the first act of this whodunit, we learn exactly, well, who did it. It was Marta in Thromby's study with a syringe. Case closed.
Oh my God.
Well, not so fast.
Is there a problem?
Because in Knives Out, Johnson cleverly makes Thrombey's nurse-turned-accidental murderer the protagonist of the story. And going back to perspective for a second, this subjectivity is what gets us to empathize with the character, to see their point of view.
You're a good person.
It's what gets us to sympathize with outlaws, bank robbers, crime bosses, and even a murderer.
We have got to get you out of this.
Now our suspense comes not from identifying the killer, but from waiting for Marta to be found out, because
this machine unerringly arrives at the truth. That's what it does.
I'll spare spoiling the entirety of this film, but just know that by keeping us focused on Marta's attempts to cover her tracks...
Marta. Stay there, Marta. No.
If you call me?
Johnson conceals a larger piece of the mystery that was actually right under our noses all along.
So, look me in the eye and tell me what happened to my grandfather.
And this is important when betraying your audience. This is perhaps the most crucial place where the audience storyteller contract can be broken. Remember, a film like Knives Out is really leaning into many of the tropes of the murder mystery genre.
The game is afoot. Hey, Watson?
Obviously, it's subverting them in very interesting ways, but this genre of films itself has roots in the golden age of detective fiction. Think Agatha Christie, Dorothy L. Sayers, and John Dixon Carr, who excelled at creating mystery by using tactics that concealed crucial narrative information or carefully misled readers. Importantly, though, these authors observed fair play. That is, their big reveals were surprising but inevitable. The clues were there all along, hidden in plain sight.
It's the trick window.
You sneak in up the trellis so as not to be seen by the rest of the family who are still having their party downstairs.
Is anybody else confused?
Not what I was expecting to hear at all.
These twists and reveals are only satisfying when they make sense, when filmmakers play fair. So if you rewatch Knives Out, a lot of information that feels like it was left out was actually carefully concealed, but certainly there all along. Like anticipating an explosion and not getting one, these deceptions subvert our expectations.
He might be okay.
The ending we've been piecing together does not actually exist.
No, probably not now.
This unit is new, and you are the newest members of it?
But in its place, filmmakers still offer conclusions that are incredibly satisfying.
So, you're a cop?
I say police detective. So what do I do?
They reveal the murderer, it's just not who we predicted. Answer our questions, it's just not what we were expecting. Drop in a flashback that changes the entire movie.
Do not trust her.
Make us think we're in the present.
Will you remember me?
When we're really in the past. Make us ask, what dream are we in? Whose memory? Is this person to be trusted, or is it all just a lie?
I see dead people.
Here, the movie is following a certain path. It's tracking in a certain direction. At least you think it is. But then a crucial piece of information that was being withheld from you is revealed. Now your entire perception of that narrative has been altered. You will never watch that film the same way again. And yet, upon a rewatch, it really has to have been there all along.
Everything will be different in the morning.
These tactics are truly at their best when they're pulling us deeper into the narrative instead of frustrating us into confusion. After all, the best types of suspense are the ones that keep you on the edge of your seat, the ones that compel you to really lean in, the ones where the setups...
What the heck did you do to my lander?
It wasn't me.
Let me guess. It was your ghost?
It knocked it off my shelf.
ultimately make for some truly astounding payoffs.
I told you about my ghost. He was trying to tell me something.
Go.
Don't go. Don't go, you idiot. Don't go! Stay!
Stay. It says stay, Dad.
It was you. You were my ghost.
It's not a ghost.
It's Rafi.
Find how I tell her. I'm gonna find a way to tell Murph, just like I found this moment.
It was me, Murph. I was your ghost.